What is happening, TwT fans? It is so good to be back on this August 8th, 2024. And again. I'm so glad that so many of you have come back for more. I can't even believe that it's August. It's crazy. I mean, it is what it is. Time flies, but I mean, I don't know if I've been having that much fun. It's so crazy, huh? August. Wow. But yeah, so before we get into anything today, I just want to say thank you to all of my subscribers out there. You are the reason I keep coming back week after week. So I thank you so much. If you're new to the podcast, stopping by, checking it out, you got to subscribe to the channel. I'm telling you, it's what helps the channel grow. It's what keeps me coming back. It's everything. So hit that subscribe button now. And then if you want an opportunity to be a guest or tell your story, or maybe there's a story that needs to be heard, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com is the official email of the podcast. That's talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. You got to send an audio, video, or type it out, but you got to send it over to the official email of the podcast. And then a link tree, it's in the description below the video, along with all of the links that are available in every episode. But go ahead and click that. It'll give you access to everything TwT. And then, of course, copy it. It's just that easy to share it with everybody you know, and hopefully they like it as much as you do. All right. And now with all that out of the way, how is everybody doing out there? How are you doing? All right. So did anybody see the wonderful, man, I don't even know what to call it. I guess it was like a way for everybody to stand with Trump. And everybody had these wonderful ear coverings. I think just standing with him and supporting him was enough. But for some reason, everybody had to bandage up their ears. And they were like, we stand with him. It's like, well, you're already standing next to him, so we get it. Like, I don't know. I just think the whole thing was like an empty gesture. It was so stupid. I think I got some pictures I can show later on in the podcast, but I was just like, what is happening today? I do have to say, and I will reflect on it a little bit, my anger has come down a little bit. I have been working very hard on it, harder than I've worked on, gaining weight or building muscle. I definitely feel like I've gotten to a point now where I find my anger to be manageable. It's still there. It's still existing. I still get very upset with customer service. I still get very upset when I'm stuck on the phone for way too long. So don't get me wrong. I'm still human. But realizing what it is, what I'm doing, and stopping it before it escalates is a giant leap for me. So super pumped there. But, we're just going to take this time. We're going to take a quick break so you can hear from my sponsor. Hey, fashion lovers, are you ready to make a statement? Here at Slow Down Clothing, your ultimate destination for tattooed-inspired prints and vibrant colors that'll turn heads wherever you go. Imagine stepping out in style with our eye-catching t-shirts, perfect for making every day feel like a runway. And it doesn't stop there. Our embroidered hats add that perfect finishing touch to your look. Back to school season is just around the corner, and we've got a fantastic selection of kids' tees that will have your little ones looking sharp and feeling comfy. Still planning on soaking up the sun? Don't worry. Slow Down Clothing has you covered with our range of beach towels and swimwear. Enjoy those sizzling sunny days in style. So why wait? Head over to slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com and explore the incredible collection today. And here's the best part. When you fill up your cart with all those amazing items, don't forget to use promo code TOPHER at checkout for a sweet 10% off your entire purchase. Slow Down Clothing, where fashion meets fun. Transform your wardrobe and make every day extraordinary. Remember, life is too short for boring clothes. Shop now and let your style shine. Visit slowdownclothing.bigcartel.com. Style awaits. All right, and I'm back, everybody. We are going to get into Topher's topics. We are getting so close to the election, and man, there is a lot going on today. North Korea threatens nuclear attack over South Korea U.S. vigilant storm drills. So now North Korea wants to take over South Korea. Has this always been a thing? Am I just realizing it now? I'm going to play the video so that we can understand it more, but I thought it was China we were worried about invading. Oh, Taiwan. See, this is where I get my things mixed up. So China wants to invade Taiwan. North Korea wants to do a nuclear attack on South Korea. What? Or are they threatening us? Let's find out.
Good evening, Mariel. North Korea issues its second nuclear attack warning on the U.S. and South Korea over their joint vigilant storm exercise, which includes approximately 240 warplanes carrying out training exercises. Secretary Pak Jong-chun of the ruling Workers' Party defined the Air Force drills as aggressive and provocative, accusing the allies of plotting against the North Korean regime's invasion and destruction. Pak commented that the U.S. and South Korean leaders will pay the most horrible price if the North Korea continues to feel threatened, referring to the party's nuclear arsenal that can be launched at any time. Both U.S. and South Korean authorities have denied any intentions of attacking North Korea and that these Air Force drills are simply defensive exercises. Of note, North Korea has also launched multiple weapons tests, which they claim are warnings for its rivals. South Korean authorities expect that the North may likely increase their offense and tactics in the succeeding weeks with the intention of completing their full-fledged nuclear arsenal.
Whoa. All right. So I don't even know what to say, man. So we are allies with South Korea. We're doing some tests. And North Korea is like, hey, this is intimidating. So we're going to threaten nuclear attack if you guys don't settle down. Is that the go-to now? Is that just where we are? No matter what's going on, there is just always going to be this imminent threat of nuclear war. I don't know. I mean, how big is North Korea and South Korea put together? Like, I don't think it would be a good idea to. I mean, are they going to shoot at the U.S. with their nuclear weapons, or are they going to shoot at South Korea? Because if they shoot at South Korea, don't they have a chance of some of that trickling over into North Korea, depending on how close to the border they do it? It just doesn't seem like an efficient way to settle things. But it seems to be the strong way to settle things today, right? We want you guys to calm down. No, stop it. Nah, I want to be included. If not, I'm gonna fire my missiles at you. This is just wild. It's wild, everybody. With all these threats of nuclear attack, it has been absolutely insane out there. I mean, I brought up. It looks like we got. This will come out weeks from now, but. As of right now, we got a couple days before Biden hopefully steps down. I mean, the guy is still being like, no, I'm going all the way. And it's like, dude, you are going to lose. So why don't you just give up? I'm surprised he hasn't woken up and just been like, I don't know, tried to act out a normal day or something. Like, he doesn't even know he's president anymore. He wakes up in the morning, and I bet you he doesn't know that he's the president. And then everybody's like, hey, how you doing tomorrow? How you doing? Good morning. I just want to remind you that you are the president of the United States. And every morning they have to do that. I can picture that. Oh, man, this whole fucking world is crumbling. Defense says Manchester man ingested hallucinogenic mushrooms before allegedly attacking an 86-year-old man. So if you don't remember, I talked about a gentleman who his dog saved his life when a naked man broke into his house and started beating him. Well, now the defense is saying that this man that went into this older man's house and attacked him was on psilocybin mushrooms. So I want to play the video a little bit so that we can get a better understanding. But this sounds like a bunch of horse shit to me, because I have taken a lot of mushrooms. I really have. I've taken a lot of hallucinogenics in my life. And I will tell you, there's two things I never did. Never got naked for no reason, and I never broke into someone's house and beat them for no reason. So I don't know if he got something that it could cause this, or maybe they were laced with something, but there is absolutely, positively no way that I believe psilocybin mushrooms caused a man to get naked for no reason and run into someone's house and beat him to a pulp until the dog finally attacked him. I just don't. They're just making, this is what I truly believe. They are making psilocybin mushrooms sound dangerous. And they're not. They're not. And I honestly believe that. I think they are very therapeutical, and I think the way that they are looked at and the way people are treated because they either have them or views them is absolutely wrong. We need to start looking at all of these things a lot differently today.
In arguing for $4,000 cash bail, the defense noted that Pierce had never been arrested before and offered an explanation for what happened that night.
Donald Pierce entered court for his bail hearing after deciding to waive probable cause. He faces numerous charges, including first-degree assault. According to prosecutors, back on July 7th, Pierce was nude when he brutally attacked an 86-year-old neighbor, sending that neighbor to the hospital. Prior to that, Pierce allegedly repeatedly struck a woman in his home. The prosecution said that given the nature of these assaults, Pierce represents a danger to the community, outlining to the court the injuries suffered by the neighbor. However, the defense called the events of that early morning an aberration and said that Pierce wasn't in his right mind.
Appears to have been the result of him ingesting hallucinogenic mushrooms and having an extremely bad reaction.
As a result, he has suffered a brain bleed and a potential broken collarbone. Officers observed him to have two large gashes, one on the back of his head, one towards the front of his forehead, both bleeding profusely.
While Ned Tarmy remains in the hospital, his nephew says he is improving and is hoping to be moved to rehab soon. However, he will likely remain hospitalized until the 23rd at least.
The judge said he wanted to research some materials before issuing his opinion, which will probably come later today. But in all likelihood, this case will head to Superior Court.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to eventually go to Superior Court because that's where these go. You have to go to trial. You got to get a jury involved and the whole thing. But is this guy really trying to say that I ate some mushrooms, beat somebody in my house, and then got naked, ran over there and beat somebody else? Like, that is just crazy talk. You know who you are, you know where you are, and you know what's going on when you eat mushrooms. Like, I know plenty of people, including myself, who have had bad reactions to mushrooms. And I'll be the first one to tell you, you don't do any of that. You don't do a thing. You really don't. You freak out because you're fighting demons within your own mind. And you might panic. You might get upset. You might be having a horrible time and wanting to get off of the mushrooms. But when you realize that you are fighting what's going on inside your brain, and I tell everybody this, whenever you take mushrooms, you need to be in a good place. You need to be around people you are comfortable with. These are not a party drug. They're not. They're a therapeutic drug. and they do a lot of positive things. But if you are in a bad mindset, around bad people or people that make you feel uneasy, or you are, I don't know, uncomfortable in your home or upset with whatever negative energy you bring into a mushroom trip will make that trip very negative. And you're going to want it to end. So I don't believe that this is what happened. I believe this guy is using this as an excuse so that he can get off. I really do, because I'm sorry. You're making mushrooms sound bad. You did bad things, and it's not the mushroom's fault. Again, my argument is always that it's not the thing's fault. It's the person's fault. You probably shouldn't be eating mushrooms, right? You probably shouldn't be doing whatever you were doing. You cannot give psilocybin mushrooms a bad name because you chose to do something bad with them. You just can't. That's like getting a gun, shooting somebody, and being like, it was the gun's fault, man. It was the gun's fault. I had no idea. I don't know. The trigger pulled itself. What? No. Impossible. The trigger can't pull itself. You pulled the trigger. You are the human being with the instrument in your hand. Well, you are also the human being who ingested a psychoactive material, and then you lost your shit. You can't go blaming that on the mushrooms. You just can't. So this is something that I actually do agree with. I think it's a good thing, and I'm sorry if you don't. Sununu signs bills to ban gender reassignment surgery for minors, organize sports based on students' sex on their birth certificate. Now, I'm going to explain why I think this is a good thing. Because there's only two sexes. There's only two genders. I'm sorry. You can't fight biology. You can't fight science and evidence and the truth. You can pretend. You can pretend. But now we're making your pretend world real. You know what makes me even more upset about this than anything is the simple fact that women have fought so hard to get women rights, to have women's sports, to do women stuff. I don't know, whatever. And why aren't there more women in an uproar today about men taking over women's sports because they're pretending to be women? Why do I get so offended when I hear about this that, I say something, but I'm like, wait a minute. Why aren't the women saying something? They fought so hard to get everything that they have today, and yet you're going to let men take it away from you again? So this is a very good thing. I don't know man turning into a woman, wanting to be a woman, should be in women's sports. We need to make a transgender division. Period. You don't get to play with the men. You don't get to play with the women. You play amongst yourselves. That's why we have a men's division. That's why we have a women's division. So if we're going to indulge in this pretend world, then we have to make rules for it. We have to give you your own divisions. We have to give you the opportunity to make these decisions when you're old enough. So I think stopping the gender reassignment surgery before the age of 18 should be done across the nation. You shouldn't be afraid of your children to tell them no. you shouldn't want them to go through these surgeries or take these medications. And if you do, you're the problem. That's gross. That is gross. That you would want your child to do something to themselves that they may regret and then kill themselves over. Because that's what's happening. That's reality, everybody. You see all this TikTok, you see all these things, the unicorns and the mermaid, you're so lucky you got a fin. Well, I'm not lucky. I saved my money. And I worked really hard. So I earned my mermaid fin. Do you know how insane all of you sound? And I get it. I get it. You want to be something you're not. We all do. I want to be giant and jacked. I'm not. I'm skinny, scrawny, and I'm tiny. It sucks. I hate it. Nothing I can do about it. What am I going to do? Go get ab implants and bicep implants? No, go fuck yourself. That's stupid too. That's living in a pretend world. No, I work out hard. I do what I can, and this is what I got. I just deal with it. No one's happy with the body that they're in. Everybody wants to be something different or somebody else. Talk to anybody. Talk to everybody. We all feel the same. So I understand not being happy with yourself. But I don't understand changing yourself before you're actually capable of making an educated decision. So let's check this out. Let's see what they got to say about it, because that's what I got to say about it.
Sarah Terrell's 15-year-old daughter, Parker, loves soccer, but this fall, she won't be able to play.
Losing that connection, especially in high school, especially as a kid that already feels other in so many situations, is pretty heartbreaking.
Parker is transgender, and she'll be one of the kids in New Hampshire who will be directly affected after Governor Sununu signed House Bill 1205, which requires sports from middle school on to be organized by the sex listed on a student's birth certificate. He also signed Bill 619. That will ban gender reassignment surgery for minors.
Putting all these restrictions on her is not something that you would expect in the live free or die state. She has very little freedom at this point.
Opportunity in women's sports applauded Sununu, sharing quotes from a letter that they'd sent the governor that read, "Women's sports are important for self-esteem, teamwork, camaraderie, and grit, but sports cannot exist without fair competition." For now, Parker's mom says she's just worried about what's ahead.
Having her play on teams with high school boys that are much, much stronger and bigger isn't really safe for her. So she doesn't really have any other options. She's just not allowed to play.
I'm sorry. I don't think that's wrong. I don't think it's wrong, everybody. I don't. And if you feel that I'm wrong, leave some comments. Leave some comments. But no, I'm sorry. You are a boy turning into a girl. You need to be on the boys' team, or maybe you shouldn't play sports. You just shouldn't until they get a division. And I'm sorry, but that mother is wrong. Why are you allowing your child to do this to themselves? Why? You shouldn't be allowing this. It's disgusting. Too young. Too young. So as far as I'm concerned, this is probably a good thing. I really do think it is. I'm sorry. I don't care. But schools are going to have to make transgender divisions, women division, men, boys division, whatever it is. And we're going to have to do the same with all our others. And then those athletes are going to have to prove themselves. And until they get the eyes or the butts and seats, they're going to go through the same thing that the women went through, trying to get their sports up there and popular and make more money, right? They always complain, we're not making enough money. We're not making enough money. Oh, the men make so much money. Yeah, because people watch men's basketball, right? So if people watch men's basketball and they're getting a lot of revenue because there's a lot of people and butts and seats, well, then they make more money. And now that the women's basketball and their sports are doing better and they're getting more eyes, they're getting more money. That's how this works, everybody. You don't just get money because you're doing something. If you're playing major sports, the only way you're going to get eyes is to do well. And the more you do, the better you are, the better you play, the more you win. Well, then people get excited about that, and then they start following your team. So I don't really care that she can't play soccer anymore because she should be on the boys' team. And she can play with the boys because she is one. She has it, but if you gave her all the surgeries and all the medications to turn your boy into a girl, well, you're kind of to blame, right? I'm sick of these trophies for nothing. This, this is what he wanted. He's now a she, and now he gets to go play on the girls' team, right? No, because you shouldn't have done this to him in the first place. We need to stop this madness. You need to stop encouraging your kids. Tell them to stop watching TikTok. Or just tell them, like my parents told me, if you want to do that shit, right? Because when I was a child, I wanted to get pierced. I wanted to get tattoos, mostly piercings at the time. My mom said, you want that shit? Turn 18, get the fuck out of my house, and you can do whatever the fuck you want. Is exactly her words when I was 16. This is how we need to speak to the children again. This is how we need to act towards the children. You've all been way too soft. You're babying them. You're not smacking them around or telling them that they're doing something wrong. Instead, you encourage the bad behavior, and then you give them a trophy when they wake up in the morning. It's absolutely disgusting, ass backwards, and I'm sorry. But if you want to blame somebody, you got to stop blaming social media and everybody else. You got to blame yourselves. They're your children. They're your children. So, everybody, here we go. Person infected with measles visited 3 New Hampshire restaurants July 6th and 7th, officials say. Okay, so I don't know about you, but measles have been eradicated. Why? Because we have a very good vaccine for it. And now we have a whole bunch of anti-vaxxers because they think that every vaccination is bad for you. Well, I want you to know that this is your fault, everybody. You're not vaccinating your children. They go and meet somebody that's foreign or whatever. They're traveling. They're in their 20s. They never had their measles shot, and now they have measles. They come back, and they go to multiple restaurants, and now there is a possible chance that we could have a measles outbreak on a disease we eradicated with a fucking vaccine. What? Is this actually for real, everybody? I can't even believe this. Okay, look, I stupidly got the COVID vaccine. I stupidly accommodated, right? I got the 2 shots, and I was like, no more after this. You're full of shit. I did it because I wanted to take my mask off, which I will never put one on ever again because they don't do anything. If not, they help spread the disease further. Not doing anything. Everybody who wears a mask today is a fucking idiot, period. But when you're talking about measles, something that was eradicated with the help of vaccinations, and then people are like, no, I'm not vaccinating my kids. I'm going to homeschool them. They're going to be fine. Well, now you're bringing back measles. So thank you. Thank you for this. I'm glad that I don't have to worry about it, though, because I was vaccinated for this shit like I was supposed to be when I went to public school. But this is crazy, everybody. We are bringing back diseases that are supposed to be gone that are absolutely, crazy deadly. That's why we got vaccinated for them. That's why we were trying to eradicate these diseases, because they actually will kill you. So this is wild to me that all of a sudden now in New Hampshire, we now got to worry about measles?
Well, Jen, we know 2 people from New Hampshire have been diagnosed with the measles, with another 2 from out of state also infected, with this 5th person having gotten it from someone who traveled overseas.
If you have someone that comes in internationally where they are unvaccinated, they can bring measles into a community, and that's what's happened here.
A 5th person with measles visiting several places across New Hampshire while infected. That's according to DHHS, who says they've confirmed another link to a recent multi-state outbreak of the airborne disease. Now, the state is urging anyone who isn't protected against the measles, who went to the Baked and Brewed Cafe in Alton, the Texas Roadhouse in Concord, or the Common Man in Merrimack during these times to contact the Division of Public Health Services.
The measles virus can remain infectious in the air for up to 2 hours after somebody leaves that space, and so there can be overlapping exposure time periods.
A high fever, cough, a runny nose, and watery eyes before a rash, all symptoms to look out for.
And that rash starts on the head and goes down the body.
The period of time when somebody with measles can spread it to other people starts from 4 days before rash onset until 4 days after the rash has appeared.
And while both doctors say there is a chance more cases are identified here, Dr. Chan says New Hampshire's level of immunity is typically high, and through contact tracing, public notices, and encouraging vaccines, they're working to stop the measles from spreading.
We don't expect that this is going to turn into a large, widespread community outbreak.
Well, I'm glad about that. At least we don't have to worry about it being a large outbreak, but that's probably because most of us got vaccinated for the measles. Jesus Christ, people. All right, fine. You can bash vaccinations. You can bash a whole bunch of things, but we actually do have a lot of vaccines that are very important. And I'm sorry, the measles, tetanus, I don't know whatever else I got shot up with. I will have to say that it is a little ridiculous today, because if you look at the list of the amount of vaccinations today compared to when I was getting vaccinated and going into school, I believe I was up to 8 or 12 vaccinations, and it's now up to almost 20-something, I think. I mean, it is crazy. It is frustrating. And yeah, you should question it. But I don't believe that every vaccination is an actual problem or can cause side effects in all children. I don't. I do believe in vaccinations. I just don't believe in the mRNA vaccinations today. I don't. So this is fun. Yeah, so we've got some astronauts stuck in space after thruster issues.
So we've been scurrying around. A lot of the crew has been doing various things.
What was supposed to be an 8-day mission has turned into a 36-day test flight and counting. Astronauts Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams launched on June 5th, the first human flight of the new Boeing Starliner spacecraft. But on the 6th,
we lost another jet, S1A1.
Some of the thrusters on the Starliner failed as astronauts tried to dock with the International Space Station.
I'll just reiterate again, this is a test flight. We were expecting to find some things, and so we are finding stuff.
Now, engineers are trying to figure out why the thrusters didn't work as designed. NASA says it's better to test the thrusters in space because they burn up during return.
And then we wouldn't be able to go through all this testing and understand about our spacecraft.
But the astronauts are confident the Starliner is safe.
I have a real good feeling in my heart that this spacecraft will bring us home, no problem.
Boeing is one of 2 companies getting money from Congress to take astronauts to space. NASA awarded the company more than $4 billion.
If you're going to do things on a schedule, try to stick to the schedule, but don't risk people's lives.
Oklahoma Republican Tom Cole chairs the House Appropriations Committee. He says these missions are vital to the 21st century space race.
Look, I want us back on the moon. I want us back playing an active role.
The astronauts say they're happy to spend a few extra days in space.
This is a tough business that we're in. Human spaceflight is not easy.
NASA says they'll be back on Earth late this month or early next.
Wow, everybody. I mean, that sucks. That absolutely sucks. We had to find out if we had any issues with our spacecraft. Well, I guess you found them, huh? But, I mean, does anybody really think that they're stuck in space? I just don't. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm finding it harder and harder to believe any of this shit today. But, man, if you are stuck out in space, that sucks. That sucks. But I don't know, man. They gave him $4 million. So is this a Boeing aircraft? Because the name Boeing came up. Yeah, see, I don't. So are they saying this is a Boeing aircraft? The thrusters are attached to the service module, which will burn up over the Pacific Ocean on re-entry, according to Boeing. Oh, okay, so it is a Boeing craft. Well, there's the problem. Man, can they do anything right? They're supposed to be getting us from state to state, country to country with their airplanes, doors popping off, people dying when they're trying to whistle blow. And now you send people into space to test out your new spacecraft and it fucking fails? Dude, why are we putting any more trust into Boeing? These people are murderers and liars. We need to cut them. We need to cut them. Give all of their technology to somebody else and shut this company down before more people die, before more people go missing, and before more fucking aircrafts fail. This is insane. But they're going to double down, give them more money, and tell them to keep doing a good job. You watch, because what I say about them being stopped makes sense. But to them, we've already invested all this money into them, so we can't pull the plug or we'll lose all the money. Well, maybe you should, because these guys are murderers, right? Because somebody doesn't just not go to trial the day of. Get the fuck out of here, man. This is crazy. All they keep doing is covering up for these fucking corporations, dude, because they have put so much money into the politicians' pockets. This is absolutely grotesque. It's grotesque that we're even dealing with this company still today. Really, that's so stupid. All right, so I was telling you about the ears earlier today, and I wanted to show you what I was talking about. I mean, this stuff, look at this. I mean, there are just tons of these. Look at these idiots. I stand with Trump. Look at this fucking moron. I got a paper napkin, I wrote something with pen, and I scotch taped it to my freaking skin, dude. Like, this is just so retarded. Look at these people. Why are we doing this? Look at this. Oh, my God. It just keeps going. And keeps going. Look at how happy she is. Look, I stand with Trump. I stand. Another one. And another one. This guy just put a piece of medical tape over his ear. He's like, yeah, I stand with Trump, too. I stand with him. Yeah. You stand with him? You got to put something on your ear, though, if you stand with him. I'm like, what? And then there's the actual picture of Trump with the bandage on his ear. And I don't understand why anybody would just tape something to the side of their head. It's supposed to wrap over and behind, you know? So why are you just smacking something on you? I stand with him. You're an idiot. I mean, this is absolutely hilarious and so stupid. And I don't, like I said in the beginning, all you have to do is stand with him. All you have to do is go to his rallies, go to his things, and then at the end of the day, you vote for him, right, on November 2nd. You don't have to do all this other stupid shit to stand with Trump. It's so, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not gaslighting. It's that other thing that everybody was doing on social media for a long time. Damn, I wish I could remember the word, but I can't. So Andrew Tate just released a post, and I wanted to play it because, like, as far as everybody else is concerned, Andrew Tate's this awful person, whatever. I don't think he was an awful person. There was a bunch of stuff that I didn't agree with when it came to women that he would say, but he had a lot to say. And it was more than just that. And even though everybody crucified this guy for those things and probably more, human trafficking, I don't know. I don't know if any of that's true. But I don't know. I was like, holy shit, he's back on X. Here he is. So let's hear what he has to say anyways. You know what I'm saying?
I was going viral on the fucking internet telling all of you. I said they try and cancel you. If cancellation fails, they try and put you in jail. And if that fails, they fucking kill you. I was saying this last year. I was saying it after I rejected their fucking money. I rejected their money to sell my soul, and I started saying on every podcast, they're gonna hit me with a bullshit case, they're gonna try and put me in jail. And when I got out of jail, I said on every podcast, I'm uncomfortable because I know I'm on my last fucking life. Look what they've done to Trump. Look at it. They canceled him, they deleted him from everything. Nobody cared, it didn't work. They tried to put him in jail, that's failed. Now they killed him. You get 3 lives against these people. The second you've been canceled, next is a fucking case. And if you beat that case, they're gonna put a bullet in you. It happens every fucking time. I don't care what side of the political spectrum you're on. You better pray for Donald Trump because he is fighting evil. You do not want the people who are against Trump in charge of anything, especially not your fucking life. I don't care what you call yourself, Democrat, Republican, no matter what it is. You need to pray for Donald Trump and pray for him right now. He's the last fucking hope for Western civilization as you know it. I promise you that.
I don't know if all of that is true. I really don't. I really don't know if he's our savior. All I do know, and I will say, is that, yeah, he's right. I mean, they've tried knocking him down. How many times now? All the lawsuits, the felonies, the money that had to be paid out. I mean, they have literally tried to completely chop him down. And you know what my favorite part of all of it is? He doesn't even need to be doing this. He doesn't even need to be doing this. He could walk away from it at any moment in time, and he would be absolutely fine, and he would live his life. But he is endangering his life and trying to do something, I guess, good for the country. Now, the only thing that I can piggyback on off of that is that I'm really hoping that Project 2025 is not, it's not going to go through. I'm hoping that he doesn't put in F3. I'm hoping that he actually does what's right for the people and not for the people that put the money in his pocket to get where he's going. I just do. But I believe Andrew Tate as well. I think he's absolutely right about the 3 strikes. You get canceled, you go to court, and then you die. And it's happened over and over and over again. And if you haven't seen it, man, you got to open your eyes. It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Start with Epstein. It's fun. Why are they underwater? Why are there? No, it should say why are there? Why are they underwater pyramids? No, they didn't. That's a typo, motherfucker. Damn it. Why are there underwater pyramids in Japan that are the same height as the ones in Egypt? This is very interesting to me because I mean, there is so much, like, we have not explored more than 20% of our ocean, or 10%. 10% of our ocean. So there's 90% of our ocean we haven't checked out yet. And just to put that in perspective, the ocean is 3/4 of the planet. So we don't know more than half of our planet. Isn't that crazy? Think about that. The body of water that is on this planet is 3/4 of the planet. And we've looked at 10% of that. So I don't know if any of these any of these questions could be answered.
This is what they hide from you. Why are there underwater pyramids in Japan? And why do they look exactly like the pyramids in Egypt? This could change everything we know about ancient civilizations. But that's not even the craziest part. In ancient Japanese texts, there are cryptic references to a sunken civilization, saying the structures beneath the waves hold the secrets of the ancients. Wow. These pyramids were made thousands of years ago, so who built them? This is where things get scary. In recently analyzed ancient documents, it said that these underwater pyramids weren't natural formations, but man-made structures created by an advanced civilization known as the Anunnaki. The texts specifically mention that the Anunnaki, who also built the Great Pyramids of Egypt, constructed these underwater pyramids as part of a vast network to harness and control energy from the ocean. However, once the Anunnaki left Earth, their advanced knowledge was hidden, and the true purpose of the underwater pyramids was concealed to keep this powerful technology from being misused.
Ooh, that was wild. What? So wait a minute. Are you actually trying to tell me that they actually built the pyramids underwater? Or did they build the pyramids before there was water there? Because I just don't believe, I can't believe that they had the technology to be able to build these pyramids underwater? That's crazy. So now you've taken, right? We already said that the pyramids, we don't know how they were built. We don't know how they moved the stone. There's talk, there's water, there's this, there's that. Maybe they had the mechanics to do it. Who knows? But we don't have anything that can replicate how they did it today. But now you're going to pile on top of that this ancient civilization was capable of building these pyramids under the water? That's a hard pill for me to swallow. I would believe, I would have an easier time believing that there was no water. They built the pyramids. Then the floods came in, buried those pyramids underwater, so they had to move to another landmass and build more pyramids. Now that I can swallow that pill. But I just cannot. I mean, we can barely get underwater today. If it wasn't for the submarines and the snorkeling and the oxygen tanks and everything else that we have, I mean, they used to have huge lines that were attached to an awful helmet on a suit that weighed probably 150 pounds. And when you jumped into the water, you sank to the bottom like a fucking rock. That's what we used to have. And now everything's lighter and easier to deal with the technology that we have today. But still, we haven't explored 90% of our ocean. But yet you're going to tell me the Anunnakis in ancient times had the capability of building pyramids underwater to harness the energy from the water. Then they built the pyramids on the ground to then extract that energy that they were trapping from the ocean and then somehow delivered it to themselves? Whew. I am blown away. I'm going to have to look more into this. This is wild, everybody. It's absolutely wild. Like, I don't even know how it's even possible for that to happen. I don't even know how it's possible. If we can barely do any of those things today, it just makes it so much harder to believe. But they are underwater. They are there. And we don't know how they got there. But I'm going to stick with it. I think they built them before water showed up. I do. And then water showed up, and then they had to go somewhere else and do it all over again. And they probably just got sick of doing it, which is why they left. I don't know. Or do you think that they died in the floods with the giants? I don't know. It's just very interesting to me to find these things, and we don't know where they came from or how they got there. So we have to come up with these elaborate stories from all the things that we've already found and all the things we've already looked into, and we just kind of make our own summary of it. But the only problem I have with that is that the summary becomes facts. And usually there's no evidence to back up those facts, which is why these become theories. They become fun theories because you're like, I don't know. Let me take a dig at it. I feel like you guys don't even know. You're just trying to feed me a story. So maybe I'll make my own story out of this one. So it's very interesting, though, that we keep finding all this stuff and we're still looking for, the golden road or something. And they've definitely tracked it at some point, and the waters come in and covered everything. The city of Atlantis, I believe, is what I'm talking about. And there's some special road that leads to it, and they believe that they found it, but it's all underwater. It's been washed away. It doesn't look like it's supposed to, but they kind of replicated it with digital. Whatever you're looking into today. I mean, even dinosaurs, right? Dinosaurs are becoming different today. Because why? Because when they rebuilt the skeletons and then put the body over the skeletons, they never left any room for cartilage. So we don't even really know what dinosaurs look like in the past because nobody made a model of a dinosaur that we supposedly know today with any cartilage. So and then they're starting to say, well, they might not be reptiles. They might have been feathered. Where did you get that info? How is that possible? So all the dinosaurs that I grew up with as a kid, they're all slowly changing. Nah, they didn't. The Stegosaurus doesn't look like this. A Brontosaurus doesn't look like that. T-Rex doesn't look like that. They look like this because if we were to make the model of the skull and then add cartilage in and then put a face on it, this is what a T-Rex looks like now. And then they probably had feathers. So they throw feathers on it. And you're like, well, it doesn't look like a dinosaur anymore. It looks like a giant chicken. So it's really interesting to see the evolution of everything today. And no matter what you're looking into, look further because you'll find something that you either agree with, don't agree with, or maybe you have to make your own narrative out of it. But I always try to have fun at the end of the show. And I just want to let everybody know that I thank you very much for subscribing and thumbs upping and doing all the things that you all do. I greatly appreciate it and thank you. If you are new to the podcast, you got to be hitting that subscribe button. It's the one thing that I'm asking everybody to do. It's free for you, all right? This thing is not free to do, so please be hitting that subscribe button. And of course, if you want your opportunity to be a guest, tell your story, or maybe there's a story that needs to be heard, you need to send it over to the official email of the podcast, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. And, of course, you can send an audio, video, or type it out. But you got to send it over to that email. All right. And then, of course, don't forget about the link tree. It's in the description below the video, along with all the links that I hit today. You can go and click them and look into it all yourself. But copy that link tree link and share it with everybody you know. Help me make the podcast bigger. And, of course, I hope everybody out there has an amazing rest of your Thursday. Enjoy your weekend. And as always, I will talk to you later.